Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations, where we generally look at one or another of the lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer. What is known as the daily office lectionary. Today, Saturday, is the last day of the St. Michael's Conference for Youth. Thank you so much for your continued prayer for the conference. Today we have our closing Mass, and then we have our pageant of salvation and the closing ceremony, and then the kids will be heading back home, back to their parishes, and hopefully taking with them a new enthusiasm as well as an education in the faith. So do please continue to pray for all those who have been here at the conference, that God will take what they've been able to experience here today and have it go back into their everyday lives as well. We started a new book in the Bible through our lectionary, and that is, we are now reading from the book of Ruth. So I thought I'd go ahead and read the lesson that's assigned for morning prayer today from the book of Ruth, and we'll talk a little bit why Ruth is important for us as members of the body of Christ. So we're actually going to start at chapter 1, verse number 14. And they lifted up their voices and wept again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. And she said, Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back into her people, and unto her gods return thou after thy sister-in-law. And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Where thou diest, I will die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left speaking unto her. So the two went till they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass, when they came to Bethlehem, that all in the city were moved about them, and they said, Is this Naomi? And she said unto them, Call me not Naomi, call me Mara. The Almighty hath dealt very bitterly with me. And I went out full, and the Lord hath brought me home again empty. Why then call ye my Naomi, seeing the Lord hath testified against me, and the Almighty hath afflicted me? So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of the barley harvest. Okay, so the background of this story is that Naomi, which actually means pleasant. Remember, she says, don't call me Naomi, which literally means pleasant, but call me Mara, which is bitter. Why? Because she's lost her husband and both of her sons have died. And so she's left with these two daughters who are not Jews, not members of the original covenant, who the sons married. And one of them, Orpah, she decides to go back to her people. And even though Naomi says, you should go back to Europe because I don't have any more children to give for you to take in marriage, obviously, and even if I were to be married myself and have a child right now, are you going to wait 20 years to marry him? So she tries to convince Ruth to go back. But Ruth is like, look, I'm going to stay with you, Naomi. I'm going to let your people be my people. She's from the tribe of Moab. She says, I'm going to be a Jew. I'm going to be with you, and your God will be my God. And this faithfulness, of course, ends up being very important, because what city do they go to? Bethlehem. Sound familiar? It ends up, when we read the genealogy of Jesus, Ruth is in there. Why? Because she ends up being the grandmother of the one who we, of course, know as King David. And King David, of course, is promised an heir to rule on his throne forever, and that person in lineage ends up being, of course, Jesus Christ. So that's the story of Ruth is important for the people of Israel because of her association to David, the great king. But for us, it goes even further, that she is of the lineage of the flesh of Jesus Christ, the second person of the Trinity, who took human flesh from his mother Mary, and Mary being also then in that same lineage. And of course, we know Jesus was born in Bethlehem, the town of David. Anyway, so that's why the Old Testament for us is so great to read, to get the background material, and to see where this is pointing. So as I said, today is Saturday. Please keep us in your prayers today, and God willing, we will see you tomorrow in church for the 5th Sunday after Trinity. I will be there, God willing, and we have 7:30 morning prayer, 8 o'clock Holy Communion, 10 o'clock Holy Communion, and a return of our 5:30 evening prayer service as well. So pick a service or two and join us for worship. And may God give you a Saturday that is full of blessings.